Well, that's a way to end the season, isn't it? And welcome to another round of sports reviews. Tonight I'm reviewing Toronto FC 1, DC United 3, the final match of the season for Toronto FC on MLS Decision Day 2021. Even though they do have the Canadian Championship, it's not their last match overall. Even though that match feels more like the first match of 2022 instead of the last match of 2021, even though it's going to get played in 2021, probably November 20th. We'll get into that later. Let's talk about the match first. First off, in the 13th minute, Steven Birnbaum scores off a header, off the corner. Julian Gressel crosses it in, headed off. Birnbaum, Westberg just stands there. The defense does nothing. Free header, pretty much. 1-0 DC. In the 18th minute, Richie Laryea gets the ball centered to him outside of the box. He hits it to the far post, past Bill Hamid to make it 1-1. And they look like they can hold it until the 30th minute. Ola Kamara gets taken out by Quentin Westberg. Westberg touches the ball first, but then goes full speed ahead into Ola Kamara's legs. He goes down, gets a penalty, and he takes it himself, puts it down the center of the goal. Westberg goes to the right, even though all he had to do was stand there. And it's 1-2. 30th minute penalty for Ola Kamara. He ties up the Golden Boot lead at the point. In the 36th minute, Ola Kamara gets a ball played in from Julian Gressel. Everybody was just standing there. Ola Kamara taps it in, backheels it to make it 3-1 in the 36th minute for DC United. And he gets 2 goals. Didn't get his hat trick, but he got 2 goals. And he tied Tati Castellanos for the Golden Boot lead. Could have got his hat trick to win it. And we don't know what will happen in the West, but I don't think. Isn't Rui Diaz not playing? He probably wouldn't even score like 4 goals anyway. So, 3-1 at halftime, and then at full time, it ended 3-1. TFC lose their last game of the season, finish on 28 points, 6 wins, 18 losses, 10 draws. Still not last place, though. 8 points clear of Cincinnati, 6 points adrift of Chicago, 7, I think they drew. So, 7. Full-time, 3-1, DC United. Stats are as follows. 14 shots to 17. 4 shots on goal to 10. 68% possession to 32% possession. 523 passes to 248 passes. 83% pass accuracy to 66% pass accuracy. 9 fouls to 23, which of those 23 fouls, Felipe only committed like 5. 1 yellow card to 4, and yes, Felipe had one of those yellow cards. Of course he did. 0 red cards to 0. 3 offside to 1, 4 corners to 6. How do you have stats like that and proceed to not do well? Honestly, though, DC's goals came off of defensive mistakes and defensive miscommunications. They did not come off of DC being better. Because Toronto, they weren't better, but DC wasn't dominant. You see, this wasn't the July game. Okay? DC capitalized off our mistakes. We weren't absolutely dreadful. Now, they didn't care. Toronto players did not care at all. You did not see an ounce of care on their face, which is sad because I care. I may act like I don't. I may say I don't care. That's being ironic. But honestly, though, if you're going to do that, why should I care? Especially since we're already out. What, you're saving your energy for the Canadian Championship final? 2 weeks from now? A fortnight from now? Yeah, if you do that, you're going to get the L emote dance on you. That was a bad joke, but that's what's going to happen when you play the scum up the 401. You can't do this. And I know, you're going to say, but Toronto's going to pull a good match out of their behinds in the Canadian Championship final. It's for a trophy. It's against Montreal. Of course, they're going to have their best match of the season. Or at least one that's up there. Because, yes, Toronto FC have shown up at times this year. They have. And a very good number of times. Both Chicago games, the Cincinnati game at home, actual home, not the Orlando one. Not the one I ranted about, the one we won at BMO. Leon, Nashville, at home, both the tie and the win. And honestly, the game in Nashville, besides a couple of mistakes, that was one of their best games of the season. So they even can show up in a loss. Montreal at home, Montreal away, down a man. They've shown up. Pacific, York, they've shown up. They can show up. New York City, they've shown up before this year. So I know they can. I know they have the power to show up. It's not like they just did it once and never did again. Oh, Columbus, by the way. In Orlando, no less. But they did show up. They have shown up before. So they probably are going to show up for that match, and I'm worried for no reason just because of this match being a lackadaisical, horrible effort. Now, why do I talk about the Canadian Championship Final? Because it's still there. It's going to be played on November 20th, it seems like. Now that Montreal's not making the playoffs, Toronto was already out. It's going to be played on Saturday the 20th, the same day the playoffs start, in Montreal. And yes, when that day comes, I'll be doing 2 lives and 2 RSRs because I'm sure they're not playing the Canadian Championship Final at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m. I'm sure it'll be about like 6 or 7. I think I could fit it in. Back to the point. I'm not missing talking about playoff games for a Canadian Championship game that's not going to get me views. I'll do it all, okay? So, just by the way. That's what it sounds like. It's not confirmed, but that's what it sounds like. Dwayne Rollins had that 24th minute on Twitter. I believe him. I trust him. So, he should know. So, he had that first, by the way. I'm not going to edit this video and show the tweet and put my hand over my face and all that like Dangle does for questions, but I'm not going to do that. But at 24th minute, Dwayne Rollins had that first. Before the game on Twitter. Go look it up. I trust him. So, probably November 20th. And you're saying, Ryan, why are you talking about the Canadian Championship Final more than this game? Well, why should I talk about this game? I said, DC capitalized on our defensive mistakes. They cared. They did not care. How do I put this? Toronto did not care at all, one bit about this game. So why should I? Why should I? Right? I told you about the goals. I told you about what I thought. I'll tell you the man of the match. But Toronto FC's performance was just so lackadaisical. It's like, come on now. Like, come on. It's not good to do this. To end a season like this. Last time we were in a position like this, 2018, we kicked Atlanta's butts. 4-1, remember? Lucas Hansen, Mark Delgado, and Sebastian Giovinco with 2. Yeah. One of them had 2. Hansen or Giovinco, but I think it was Giovinco. Point being is, they beat Atlanta's butts. Now DC, who isn't even going to the playoffs because they didn't get the point, the draw that they needed, or the win from Nashville to help them. Now, of course, they had to win to try to get into the playoffs. And, of course, they had more want. This game doesn't matter in the slightest for TFC, and they still have one more. So, technically, I could see why they were lackadaisical. I could see why they didn't care. But you got to somewhat care. BMO Field was actually populated with people. For once. And, yeah, I know that's a little bit exaggerating the fact Toronto's had bad attendances for the past couple of months, especially since BMO Field basically got opened up full strength. Canada, no, they get people going. Everybody, that stadium's packed. Toronto FC, 500 people. It looks like a ghost town. It actually was populated today. Probably because of Justin Morrow's last game. Probably because of the fact it was the last game of the season. We don't know if the Canadian Championship will be at BMO. If it is, I'm sure that'll be packed. It better be, because if it's not, But it probably won't be with the fact it's on November 20th in Montreal, but who knows? I don't see why November 20th is anything different than 2 weeks later because Saputo's not winterized and it would be in BMO. I don't see the difference. I don't get that part. November 20th is still winter when it comes to Canada. Like, they skip over fall. I don't see how winterized Saputo, or it's not winterized, but how it not being winterized on November 20th is fine, but 2 weeks later it's not. I don't understand that part. I know they're the cup holders. I get that's probably why it's over there. But I don't get that part. Now, with that being said, let's just say it's possible that was horse heresy. I was about to say horse poop, there we go, but heresy. Hearsay, not heresy, hearsay. Who cares, okay? Toronto didn't care, okay? Why should I, all right? Hearsay, not heresy. This isn't Bible stuff, okay? I know I screwed up, okay? Thank you very much. I honestly, if you want to get mad at it, fine. I really don't care. I had a good weekend. I'm not letting this ruin it. I had a fun weekend. I'm not letting this ruin it. Yeah. I had a really good weekend. And you can see my energy is at least back, even though Toronto basically said, no, we're not trying. Which is good. You need to recharge your batteries sometimes, especially before a big run home stretch. So with that being said, I'm glad I got out and had a little bit of a staycation. And then we're back. But with that being said, I know I feel good, okay? I'll talk about myself. Toronto gave me nothing to talk about. They gave me nothing besides man of the match and everything already said. Back to the point. Why am I focusing on the Canadian Championship match? It seems like they are. Second of all, it doesn't really, and why'd you say that's a way to end the season if they're still playing it? To me, you know what the Canadian Championship final feels like? The first match of 2022, not the last match of 2021, even if it's being played in 2021. Why? Because it's a trophy and a chance to get the spot for Canada in the CONCACAF Champions League, which starts in 2022. It shows you what this team, where they start, what time they start, what moves they got to make. It really sets the tone for 2022. This was it for 2021. Yes, the 2021 roster, Javier Perez as it stands, and the 2021 form go into this match. But coming out of the match, you could have a Champions League spot. You could have a trophy that leads to it. You could have a different path. There is going to be a rebuild, but you know when you're going to start, mid-February or late February when it comes to season games. You're going to know what moves do we have to make because they say they want the Champions League, so of course they have to make some bigger moves than they would just for MLS. So that's why the game against Montreal feels more like a 2022 season opener than the 2021 season closer, even if it's being played in 2021. That's the truth. And I'm focusing on the thing that could get us into the Champions League because just like the club, I want that more than anything. And especially since I don't want Montreal in the Champions League either, and the Mexican teams are weak as hell that they're sending. So if we don't get it next year, some other MLS team will. I want it first for MLS and before Montreal. And just because we should be first, we deserve to be. With that being said, Toronto FC playing like this, they're either saving their gas tanks for a match that's a fortnight away, or they're done. They actually checked out, or they're going to play the best game of their lives on November 20th, or the season at least, and win the Canadian Championship and go to the CONCACAF Champions League. I don't know how it's going to go, but I can tell you this. I hope it's the latter, not the former. All right? Well, I guess the first and the last is okay. It's that middle one that isn't. It's like, that's the zonk from Let's Make a Deal. And then you have Oompa Loompa singing about how bad this season was. I know that doesn't make sense. I don't care, all right? Oompa Loompa Doopa-Dee-Dee. I got a perfect puzzle for you. What do you get when your GM is a hack, hiring his best friend and throttling your season? You get second to last. With that being said, man of the match, Kamar Lawrence. His performance was amazing. He was the best player on the pitch for TFC, and honestly, in the whole game, because as I said, DC capitalized on our mistakes. They weren't that good. I'm sorry. They weren't that good. They capitalized on our mistakes. Fair play to DC and Hernan Losada. They've been building something great, but none of them looked good. Man of the match, best player on the whole pitch, Kamar Lawrence. He had a game. He tried to keep it close. He tried to give Toronto a draw. He tried to give them a chance to win. Kamar Lawrence played out of his mind at center back, and I like it. That was fight, and I respect it. Good job, Kamar, man of the match. Kamar Doxy Lawrence. You love to see it. If you liked this video, like it, share, subscribe. You know what it is. Tell all your friends. On Wednesday, I have a song parody / cover for you for Canada. Men's national team. South on Ya by Luke Combs. I'm going to parody that. Red on Ya. Because that Canadian men's national team reminds me of an SEC football team with the way they fight. It does. Bulldog mentality, like Mississippi State, you know? So, we're going to do that. Then Thursday, predict this match round for the Octo. Then Friday, live in RSR for Canada versus Costa Rica. Going to be a good one. That's everything this week because, of course, if I say that a song parody is the next video, you're going to be like, okay, cool. You normally don't do that. Yeah, right. But with that being said, check out my Patreon, $5, $10, or $20 a month. Anything's appreciated. Help support the channel. Be awesome if you do. Also support by liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, hitting that notification bell, putting super chats in the live streams, putting this in playlists, sharing this with your friends and family, all of that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. I'm Ryan and I'm out. Peace. See you later.